Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having us here today and taking the time to chat with us. My daughter and I watched the film, and she is a longtime goer of youth camp. So she was like, this is my exact experience. So I'd love to know, there were so many great song and dance numbers. What was the rehearsal process like, learning a routine and the song?
It's definitely a workout, to say the least. We had, I think, 3 weeks of rehearsal, and then that kind of seeped a little bit into kind of some of the filming. And we just, sorry, let's hear that. Our choreographer Milena was incredible with all of us. She really just, I mean, is incredible talent.
Yeah, it was yeah, like Kat said, there was 2 weeks of rehearsal up front, and like a week of overlap with like 5 more weeks of filming. And we did everything on location at the camp. We like recorded the soundtrack there those first 2 weeks, and Melina's boot camp was made us all dancers. I think that 8 hours of dance every day for like upwards of 3 weeks. I've never been in such good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a dancer per se. I grew up in musical theater, but but Milena made me a dancer. Well,
She did.
I'll
She
say
did.
that much. Yeah.
My question would be, what would you say attracted you guys to the script to kind of want to play, George and Presley?
I mean, I grew up watching High School Musical and Camp Rock, so like movie musical, like yes, like it would be my dream to be a part of that. I specifically did see the role of Presley kind of in what they call the breakdowns of casting, which kind of shows you what roles are available. And I kind of saw that like she seemed kind of quirky like me, and like I think like one of the descriptions was like she loves pugs, and like I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, you know what? I think I could pull that off pretty well. And add that to like being in a movie musical with like the same music director, or person who did the music from High School Musical and Camp Rock and all of that. I was like, I gotta be in this.
Yeah, Adam Watts, the legend.
Yes.
For me, I think like once I found out George was such a big nerd for like the 80s and like 80s movies and that all that, I was like, yep, I'm there. That's all me. And I grew up in a musical theater background, and this is my first feature, so it just felt very appropriate that this should be my like breakout role, or as they say. And yeah, no, it was perfect, very serendipitous, and yeah, the fact that it's a musical really like added a level of comfort to a process that I had never done before.
It is a very fun film, and it really sets us for summers. Hopefully summer camp will be in person like you guys have it in the movie.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular that you think will resonate with kids that right now are cooped up and looking forward to a summer camp?
I hope that we'll be able to get to a place where camps can be in person as far as resonating with kids and tweens and teens. I'm really hoping, just like personally, the character of Presley is quirky, and she's considered maybe a little weird, but I love that both her and George, like, they're not just like, oh, those are like their nerdy characters and they're in the background, we're going to transform them to be cooler. Like, no, like they're characters they're cool as they are and are seen as great and loved. And I was the quirky young girl, and so I would have loved to have a female character to look up to and be like, you know what, like, she's quirky, but like she's cool, and like everyone accepts her and loves her. And I'm happy to be that now. I'm happy to have younger generations look up to that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think yeah, as far as if we are able to go to camp this summer, I think like hopefully this movie will like help people understand and realize that like you don't have to change yourself to be to be like cool or loved by people. Kat like said it better than I did, but you know, just echoing Kat's sentiment.
I fell in love with so many different scenes during the film, but I wanted to ask you guys, what was your favorite off-camera moment that happened during the shoot?
There were just a lot of really fun moments with all of us. I mean, oh, that's tough. I really loved. We got to go over to our the director Roman White. He invited us a couple times to his house for just like a hangout, and like he's just the coolest person ever. And like I think me and Jahbril, we both took pictures with his VMA. We were like, do you like mind like if we like take a picture with your VMA, like because he's just so cool. And I loved getting to hang out with everyone. And I think we've just like ordered Chinese and just like watched a movie and had a chill fun night. And so that's like stuck in my memory is a really fun bonding moment.
Yeah, yeah, such a great time. Roman's whole house is like a shrine to nerdness, and
it's incredible.
I think an off-camera moment that I am remembering a lot, like just being in the studio, in the recording studio, was awesome every time. But there was one time in particular when we were all like, we were recording the like campfire chants, and we were all just like around the room because it like we had to like create this like crowd effect. And so like some people were like on the other side of the room, and some people were like really close, and like some people were whispering, and some people were yelling, and we were like changing our voices to make it sound like other people, and they were layering it so that it sounded like 100 people, even though there were like 5 of us. And like Alan, the producer and writer, came in and like joined us to do it, and it was so much fun.
All right, we loved the movie. The thing I want to talk about is Jahbril, about your epic Superman across the room. How many times did you have to do that to perfectly time not getting hit?
It was not as many times as you'd think. I think they were kind of they were hanging back. They were trying to like get it in the least amount of takes because it was a stunt, and I did have a stunt double, but that one I was like, that's not like I can do that. There's like a thing on the ground, like I can jump. But they were like, but you know, everyone's super professional on set and wanting me to be safe, and so they were like, all right, you did it a couple of times, now you're good. And yeah, that was so much fun. That was the one stunt that they let me do myself.
Hi, so this question is for Jahbril. I'm curious because in the production notes, they talk about how your thesis was summer camp themed. So I'm interested to hear more about that and how that experience has been for your first feature film within the summer camp.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know that it was in the production notes, because someone earlier just like creeped me out just like knowing what I did in college. But yeah, no, it was a crazy coincidence. Like I couldn't have written it better myself. Yeah, I went to Columbia. I studied acting and playwriting, and for my thesis, I wrote a 1-act musical set at a summer camp about a kid not dissimilar to George. And it couldn't have been better. Like couldn't have been more serendipitous, I guess. Like once I found out what the project was, I'm like, this has got to be it. Like this, if I don't book this, like the planets just aren't aligned.
I'd love to know from both of you how being in this film has made an impact on you personally.
I think for me, in that it kind of goes alongside my character, in that just like I came into this production like kind of like a newbie. Like I had done a few TV shows, but this is my first major role in a film. And I came into it so intimidated and being like, I don't even know, like quite like, you know, ironically, like, am I good enough to be here? And so I came in like just super self-conscious, like, oh my gosh, but like everyone, the producers, the cast, our choreographer, like everyone came in and like just were so complimentary, so supportive, and helped me gain a lot of confidence in being like, you know what, like you deserve this role, you deserve to be here, like you're good enough, you're talented enough to be here. And so it gave me kind of a boost of confidence that I think I needed for myself.
Yeah, again, my answer is going to be pretty similar to Kat's. This is my first feature as well, and yeah, I learned so much through the whole process. And not even necessarily in like a traditional way of like asking questions and getting answers from the experts. It's more like just being there and like soaking in all of the like professionalism and the experience and the expertise. Yeah, it definitely set the bar very high for future projects, because it was also very supportive and like DIY for the whole process. And in terms of I guess the impact personally, I think George is a character that I really wish existed when I was younger, because he is definitely epitomizes like being yourself and feeling confident in your interests and your I don't know, your environment and all this. I think it's further relatable because he's so anxious around Presley and can't talk to her, and I think everyone can relate to like being nervous around your crush. And I think it's lots of lessons to be learned, and lessons that I would have definitely benefited from when I was growing up.
What was your favorite song to perform in the movie, and why?
That's hard because like all the songs are so good and they're so much fun. My favorite song to perform, I think maybe Dive, just because it turned out so cool, and like just like being like on the beach and in the water. I love that song. And I think it just visually looks amazing. And you know, how many times do you get to be in a movie musical and you're dancing around in the water with all your new camp friends? So like just super cool experience.
Yeah, Dive was definitely my favorite to film. But you know, I'm biased. I gotta say Baby Baby was my favorite.
Okay,
song.
yeah, that's
that's
a good one.
In the script, it was just the whole sequence was kind of described as like kind of like an 80s aesthetic, like with like there's like fog rolling out and like neon in the background, and I like immediately thought of Prince, and that's just kind of and a testament to how supportive everyone was on set. Roman heard the idea and was like, I love it, and then we ran with it. That was just that kind of influenced the like look of the you know, my look, the look of the scene, and also like the sound. And I think that was barely acting. I'm constantly trying to emulate Prince.
So I read that you were unable to attend your audition in person, and you had to submit a tape, and you received the phone call while you were on a cruise ship. So can you tell us about that moment?
Yeah. So yeah, I sent in a self-tape, and because I couldn't attend, there was a national open call, sent in a tape, and I never heard anything back. And I wasn't asked to come to the callbacks, which like that always means like, hey, you didn't book the role. And so I kind of forgotten about it. And my parents took me on a cruise for my graduation. And all of a sudden I get a text from my agent saying, hey, can you call me? And like, I always think I'm in trouble, just because that's me. For some reason, I'm always in trouble. And I get a call and it's like, hey, do you want to like go to Nashville in 2 weeks and like, you know, make a movie musical? And I was like, yeah, I do. So, you know, I celebrated, you know, in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean, which was kind of my dream come true. So yeah.
Wait, Kat, how long had passed between the self-tape and like you, like assuming you didn't get a call back and didn't book?
It had been like, I sent in my tape end of July, and mid-August I got the call.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah.
Don't you hate when you just get ghosted and then you weren't actually ghosted?
I just accepted my job as a nanny to 5 kids too. So I had to quit that.
The whole camp thing, and you guys had all these really cool sports, like I like the paintball round personally, especially, you know, like that competitiveness, and then, you know, your characters jumping to save her. It was so cute. If you had to pick one of the sports to do at the camp, or one that we didn't see, which would be your go-to?
I don't think they showed it in the film, but me and Jahbril got to zip line, and I love zip lining. I'm a big zip lining fan. Again, I don't know if that's a sport, but I choose that any day. I think if you didn't ask this, but my least favorite one, we did flag football. None of us knew how to play flag football. So when you're seeing that, just know they're yelling at us, trying to tell us where to go, because we're all actors and we don't know how to do that.
Yeah, and those of us who did know how to play weren't very good. So there's that. I think I'm pretty sure it made it into the movie, but behind the scenes, Kevin and I crushed a 3-legged race. Like we were just like running around like with our feet tied together.
We beat you guys.
You're maybe on camera because that's how they cut it, but no one could beat us. We're unbeatable. We are literal prodigies at 3-legged racing. Challenge us.
No, he's lying. He's lying.
I don't know. There's footage somewhere. We'll dig it up. And
we'll check the footage. We'll check the footage and let you guys know.
We'll settle this.
I have been on a handful of movie sets, and I've seen a lot of sitting around and waiting and kind of boring moments. So I can imagine nothing better to be at than a summer camp when you are having all that downtime. Were you guys able to take advantage of that? And what did you do when you had those downtime moments?
We didn't always get to like take advantage of it because like they wanted us to keep, not like being like sweaty and stuff. But during like rehearsals and recording, I don't know, Jahbril, if you got to do this, but we got to go. There's this huge bouncy thing, like it's like in like a pit of sand, and so like our director Roman, like after we'd have our meetings, we'd just go and like bounce on that for like half an hour.
Yeah, just like a big like balloon, basically. Just,
it was like a
buried
balloon
in the ground. I hopped on that a couple of times. But yeah, no, like Kat said, they kind of had us on a tight leash. Like there was so much fun stuff around, and we definitely would have like hurt ourselves or something. But a thing that stands out to me, the Blob scene, a little inside info. I'm on the Blob like when they like. There's one like shot where I'm on the Blob, but like when George like gets launched off, that's not even me. That's my stunt double because, and I'm not joking. Doing my hair was such an ordeal that they were like, you can't get your hair wet because we don't have time to do it again. And I'm like, okay, that looks like so much fun. I wish I could do it like once. And they're like, no, you can't do it. So there was like this whole like, like Mission Impossible maneuver to like get off the Blob and like onto the structure without getting wet. It was like, that's what happens behind the scenes.